personal story, how I first had an insight into the nature of my experience, I guess. Could be interesting. I used to do an annual conference in my personal brand. I did a lot of personal development, relationship stuff, and Jamie, I invited Jamie because I knew him from back 2007. I had interviewed him then when he used to run his NLP company, and so yeah, he did a keynote speech, and during the keynote, there was something in me that just let go, and I couldn't pinpoint it because his message was so simple, you know. Yeah, and it just, I was calm, you know, in a relatively stressful day-to-day life because I was managing so much. I did the conference together with my partner Knut, and we had a big team, a relatively big team, and we also did like a coaching program, an intensive coaching program over 4 months, and you know, we did all these YouTube videos. I can't hear you, by the way.
I forgot to tell you, I have to switch my microphone off because otherwise it brings the picture back to me.
Oh,
so while you're talking, I'm keeping my microphone off, but I'm still here.
All right. Yeah, no worries. So where was I? Yeah, you know, that insight just struck me, and it didn't have any form yet. I didn't understand what I had just understood, if that makes sense. So
that is such a common story. So many people that I've interviewed have said exactly that, have said, well, something happened and I heard something, but I don't know what it was, or I read something and I have no idea what it was. But it really changed that. And it's so difficult to explain to people, isn't it? Because like, what was that? I have no idea.
Right. Yeah, it can definitely be a challenge because, and it seems to come in infinite forms, the words that points towards this. You know, to put it in a very simple way, I just, you know, let go of myself and became who I really am. I was just aware and present and calm and peaceful, and you know, that breath. So yeah, naturally it just made sense for me to talk more with Jamie and invite him to come back. There was a grounding, a confidence, a realness, I would say, that I felt drawn to, and I just said, you know, I don't know if he suggested it or we were like, you know, we should definitely do a workshop and pitch the workshop on this conference. There was 150 people there, so it made sense, you know. And I also remember that specific conversation that we had, there was so little overthinking there. It was just like me and him, like here, like coming together, saying that, yeah, of course, okay, let's do it, boom, you know. Instead of like, normally there would, if like a speaker would do a pitch, there would be like, how do we do it, how do we split the money, what should you say, what are the expectations, and overthink and create tons of problems to fix. But it was just flowing and easy. So we did that. I think 15 people signed up off the bat, and then 2 weeks later, we're doing a workshop in Oslo, and that's when I kind of, my logical self, in a way, I guess, grasped what I had been feeling earlier, which I guess one way of explaining it was we're the creators, you know, and then we perceive what we create with our intellect. So when I saw that awareness or creation was the real, who are you, you know, the real, what all religions are pointing to, or all philosophers are talking about, what, you know, the ancient spiritual teachers are pointing to, and it's so obvious and simple and right here that it can be so slippery, and we go into this idea of should, and we go into this beliefs all the time, like, but we believe stuff. And I remember Joe Rogan, he once said beliefs have incredible power over you. And I like that statement, because in a way it's not true, in another way it's true. It's like so many things. But the thing is that a belief is something that we don't question, we just take it as granted, like, or uh, I am shy, or I am confident, or um, it can be more psychological stuff like that, or even just like, um, I was born. I don't remember I was born, but like, I don't, um, don't necessarily have to go all the way down the rabbit hole, but there's so many beliefs that we just take for granted, that we never question. And we forget that a belief is a construct. We forget that it's within the thought, it's within the. So yeah, that started the journey for me to look at the nature of thought, and not just be consumed in the content of my thought, not just be consumed inside of the matrix. It was kind of like, oh, okay, oh, this is this is all thought. I can't not experience thought. I can't not experience consciousness, apparently, and it's just been deepening and deepening, this exploration of the unknown. And constantly I see beliefs and concepts just falling in their um, in their support. It's just, oh, okay, as soon as I believe something, it's amazing, because I'm a guy who have beliefs, and I have ambitions, and I hold on to stuff, and I think this matters and that doesn't matter, and and as soon as I look at it, or as soon as I wake up to the present moment, I realize, like, oh, this is it. This is it. Right here, right now. There's nothing to it. Like, I can think about the future, but that would still be here. That would still be now. That would still be present. So it is just awareness, and then this persona here taking things personal, uh, apparently, is kind of like he's kind of running after the train, trying to like make sense of everything, but the train is just going. You don't have to do anything. And I had a strong belief for years that I had to fix myself, or if not just fix myself, I was always pretty like, my self-esteem was more or less good throughout my life. There's been ups and downs, but there was always a sense that I could become better. Obviously you can learn new skills, but there is nothing that can make you're so much more than you think you are. And I think for people listening, especially young people, like, um, they go from, we all go from this sperm who apparently knows exactly what to do, and then turning into some kind of and then morphing outside of another human being, becoming an own individual, and then creating all this I don't know if concepts is the best word, but it seems to be that shows up. But we're creating all these beliefs and concepts and ideas and form, and then we test things, and we hit on things, and we fall, and we, we we get up again, and we try, and we fail, and we succeed, and we kind of like make this model of the world of, okay, this is how it is. And when we're like, a teenager, it's like, yeah, we know everything. You know what I mean? Like, because it's kind of this reinforcements sometimes of trends in beliefs and stuff, but it's all, and at one point we forget the essence, you know, we forget that it's all formlessness turning into form in the moment all the time. I think movies, like a lot of movies point to this, like the Truman Show, like Inception, obviously the Matrix, Lion King, you know, remember who you are. He's looking at the sky, he sees his father, but he's looking in the water and it's himself and his father and himself. Like, yeah, we are our own son. You know, that was the point.
So what happened after that then? So you were running your own business at that point when you met Jamie, and you did a workshop with him. And what happened after that?
Well, we did several workshops for a few years. I don't remember, 3 maybe, and for me, both me and Knut, my partner back then, I think we felt a big relief of realizing that it's funny when you wake up. It's like you see that stuff doesn't matter. Like it's not that it doesn't matter, but it's you don't have to bother yourself about it. You can have problems in your life, but you know there's a resilience. You can always like handle it, and you can lean on that truth in a way. So we both like, oh, whew, like we need vacation, man. We've been running on empty for 5 years. Yes, in how it looks from the outside and all the recognition we got and all that, kind of looks like we killed it, but at the same time we were, you know, we needed vacation, simple. So we took vacation, we went to California, lived in California for a while, did some private coaching and built my website, just explored whatever showed up, and constantly looking into this direction, you know, because it all it's all connected. So you start seeing that it's weird because it's like your personal, what seems to be a personal insight, and you start seeing it on the what seems to be the outside, because it's all connected, and it's just like, I had this belief drop and all of a sudden that's abundantly in my life now. So it's like, so there was this ambivalence in me, like, why should I try to work so much and try to force myself to create all of this success, while at the same time enjoying the moment, realizing I'm already successful, or I'm built for I am success. So it's just like this that happened for, and it's still happening the last 4 or 5 years. And now I'm part-time living in a van. I'm building and renovating and renting out Airbnb on Zanzibar, creating I bought a big plot there. I want to create a self-sustained community co-working, like retreat sanctuary with music studio and dance and like yoga studio and stages and stuff. So I'm super excited about that. But it's also like I'm really not forcing it. I'm really not stressing it. And it seems like the more I breathe, the more I relax. There's the right people coming into my life at the right time who wants to do exactly what I don't want to do. I don't know. I'm talking a lot now. I'm excited. But yeah, life's good.
Yeah, that's good. So you said you're living part-time in your van, or you're living, how long have you been doing that for?
Well, we right now maybe a month, but no, I've had the van for I think 2 years, and I rebuilt it a little bit last year. You can see some of the videos, I think, on my channel, but some of them are on test channel. But yeah, we rebuilt it, and then we drove down to Portugal, Spain last year. So I don't remember how many weeks or months that was, which is another thing, time. Anyways, we can talk about that. So yeah, the car was in Portugal for a year while we were traveling to Southeast Asia. We were living in Thailand for a while, Vietnam, Bali, and then came back to Norway, and I flew down to Portugal to pick up the car, and I helped my parents move, and now we're driving up again to Norway. It's Norway is warm in the summer. Our friends is there, my family, and yeah, so we have like 5 days now to get from Bordeaux, uh, which we are right now, to get to a festival my friend is singing at, and also Tess's sister is giving birth. So
Oh, oh
yeah,
wow, great,
exciting stuff.
great.
Yeah.
So how do you manage to afford to live like this? It's like people must be saying, "Oh, yeah, it's okay for you," but we couldn't do that.
Yeah. Wow, that's a big one actually. That's something that I skipped entirely in my little story there, is that I did, after this kind of like wake up, I had a fallout when it comes to I guess fallout. Well, I honestly went a, a psychologist would have called me psychotic, just because I there was so much falling out, and then you're not always, at least I'm not always there, so when I am, and when I'm not, I'm kind of like seeing my life just vanishing, and my bills piling up, and like what's happening, and I think this is for a lot of people. I felt alienated by society, um in many ways, and like, why are people walking around not talking to each other, and like, why do we have this structural, like, relationship system that why am I, so much feelings going on and so much not said, and I felt alienated, and kind of wanted to escape, and then at the same time people were still counting for me for coaching and for business, and for I had built up this monster, I guess, this personal brand, and big tribe. So that was a challenging period for me, where I felt a little bit choked by my own creation, and so I had to go back to my roots, my family, just stop everything, all everything, and my work, my expenses. I just like I was not. I, I I was what you would call depressed there for a while. I just having seen something, and then not uh, grasping to see that again, and not necessarily being there. So it's a very confusing time. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I think
and
that's not unusual, is it, for people to be very confused for a bit because it's so different, because it's such a different way. And I know with me, I just for about a year or so, I just was like, well, what's the point in doing anything, really?
right.
It's like, what is the point? Because there's nothing actually matters, nothing's real. So what's the point in doing anything? And
Yeah.
that was fine. Eventually, something just came and said, okay, so do this, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, it's so amazing, because when you go from this outside in world, and then it's like, whoa, it's inside out. All of a sudden, you know, well, I can just sit on a pillow for the rest of my life. Then, if my feelings are not coming from, I can just. But there's so much more to it. This richness, and then kind of wake up again to this like fact that, well, it doesn't matter. Then, yay, like, doesn't matter. Like, I can do whatever. And they kind of like, oh, should I choose this or this? No, it doesn't matter. I'll choose this. I changed my mind and I choose this. Like it's all okay. And yeah, so I did, but at the I needed um I needed my I needed safety, you know, and 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 strong, loving relationships, the back to the basics. Like, I was swimming in uh, this spiritual world that was almost play pretending was very grounded, but not really. It can go both ways. The pendulum swung all the other way. So now I'm like, I had seen that, but at the same time I'm completely off the rails. So so I had to go back to my roots, and then I also swallowed my pride and took a 9 to 5 job, which is something I preached against for a decade. I was the guy, like, if you do something 4 days a week or more that you don't like, change your life, which, something to be said for that, but it really doesn't matter, like, people can be happy either way. But I took a job. I had close to $10,000 in debt, and the job was like $10 an hour after taxes. So the debt grew while I was making money because it was the bad kind of debt. So it grew almost as much as I made. That's demotivating. I was there, like, just stamping papers and doing, but I had some responsibility. I made some new colleague friends, and building this, creating this thing again. And my dad died. I had to, in the middle of this, and a lot of sorrow, a lot of, that is, I just had to keep it stable. Just the routine was good, family life, um, one girlfriend, and, like, being just like one step at a time, just being me, finding myself again. And um, and then I get, life happens, it's ebbs and flows, and abundance shows up again, and you're like, oh, whoa, and I get headhunted to a job that paid like 6 times more, and I paid off the debt like that, and all of a sudden I had a coaching, counseling responsibility for 25 people, and I'm a Mr. Hotshot with the blazer on, and I did that for 10 months until I find myself even more and realize that I'm still me. I'm still an entrepreneur. I'm still the hustler. I'm still, like, uh, I go my own way. So I could, so I quit the job, built the van. So I know that I'm set. I don't need a penny. I really don't. It'll show up. But there's this, for people who are concerned about, should I, yeah, it's easy for you to say because so and so, um, you know, you can make a plan and then execute the plan, and that process can be fun and easy and loving. You don't have to be stuck in the present. You don't have to be stuck in the future. Just stay here, enjoy your life. If you feel like living in a van, write a plan right now. And if the plan sucks, that's fine. You can rewrite it. There's always new moments. There's always there's a constant manifestation of life every single moment, and the growth will happen whether you choose it or not. So it's more about setting intention, and then kind of seeing that life gives you that, or some kind of flavor of that. Not necessarily exactly what you want, but that's the fun.
So you're saying you don't have to wait for the money first. You don't have to get the money and then do what you want to do.
Well, that's like kind of like, for me, if this is this, that's kind of like, if this is the entire picture of life, the money is just one little thing here, you know. So people go like, and then they focus only on the money, and then mistakenly take it as a problem. Like, money can be such a tool. It can be such a tool. I can be here in France, and I can pay someone in Africa for cleaning my Airbnb house, for someone from Russia to visit Africa and meet that person, have a amazing vacation on a tropical island. And it was all kind of all done with the tool of money. It's so easy for people because we're conditioned to kind of believe that money is confidence or happiness or newness. That's a big one, you know. Newness is always like, this is new, this is new, and this is new, and this is new. so so people are like, I need new shoes, like, you know, then I feel new, or you know, it's just like it's just a conditioned habitual patterns. So those patterns in our brains are walked a lot, it seems. But you know, as soon as you kind of get the over or wake up to that, or get the overview and realize who you really are, that you're not all of that, then it doesn't have any power over you, and you can you I you know, you don't need the money, you need the will, you need just the desire, you just need to remember that it's possible, remember that you are infinite possibility, and not be in the way of it manifesting. It's more about not being in the way than how to create it. Because I created the summit, the first ever summit. I posted on the conference. I posted on Facebook, hey, I want to create this conference with the best speakers in this area, in the field of dating and relationship in the world, and I need your help. And then 10 people, I want to help, boom, you know. And I you know, just sent we sent videos to speakers like, hey, we're doing this, and I gave all the surplus to Angera Foundation, which is a bistandsorganisation, charity, for my sister's fiance's family to go to school. um, yeah, so yeah, there was money involved, but I didn't have any before I started it, right? And we got sponsorship from the biggest retail or ownership something in Norway. I sent that to him, and he was like, we give millions to charities every year, so, you know, but yeah, sure, I'll give you 5K, you know. And that was like, boom, we could make the thing, you know. So there's money is everywhere. Like, even people listening now, you take a square mile around you and add up the money people have in that square mile, it's going to be millions, you know. So it's just like, it's not about it at all. It's a belief. It's not real.
Yeah, and yet we've been brought up, haven't we? Most of us have been brought up with that. We obviously we weren't born thinking that we needed money, but then very soon we get taught to think and to believe those thoughts that we need money, and you have to have money first before you can do anything, rather
Yeah.
than the money will come when you start doing it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard listened to a video with Garrett, Michael, and Jamie talking about being in the game, and they pointed out so brilliantly that you don't need to do anything before you get to it. You're already in it. Like, this is it. Like, you know, this is it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what people don't realize, isn't it? I think so. Yeah. So what have you been doing this last year? What have you been enjoying this last year?
That's a great question. I've been enjoying exploring who I am a lot. That seems to be I seem to have a longing for that, you know. Even just the language, when I say that sentence, I seem to be longing for that. It's just like, what? I? Who is the I? I'm I even remember a test I did in school, and it was in philosophy, and that was the only test I liked, like really liked to to practice for. What's the word? Yeah. So that's been for me um, a real interesting journey and exploration. And it seems like there's a calmness. Here's a story. I lost my backpack in Madrid. So I was in the park, and next thing I know, my backpack was gone. And what do I have in my backpack? Well, for starters, I have my passport. I have my wallet with all of my cards. I have my MacBook. which I've had for, I don't know, since 2014, which basically has all my work on it, and also all my creative work, like freestyle lyrics and beats and videos and Final Cut projects, Kramer, all of that, and my camcorder and my photo camera, my DSLR camera. And then I realized, yes, I have backup. And then I realized, oh, my backup is in the backpack. So here's the thing. In an instant, all of my concerns were literally taken from me. It's not all of my concerns, but it's a good portion of, it's me in the backpack. I'm a traveling digital nomad. I have everything in there, all my hard drives. There's so much money in there. I said to someone once, and I also had my cryptocurrency wallets there. Yeah. So there's a, it's just like it's just like at some point, uh, I was frustrated and I tried to find it. And what happened, I had to talk to people, get out of my comfort zone. I had to ask strangers if they've seen a black bag in Spanish. I don't know Spanish, you know what I mean? And then I had to ask the lost and found people. Then I had to find the Norwegian embassy, and then I had to go to the police, and I had to ask the parking guy, and I had to ask the restaurant, and I had to ask, you know what I mean? I had to do all this stuff because I cared. And then and but surprisingly fast. And this is like, I was really calm in the process, and surprisingly fast after it happened, the thought, who are you, came. Who are you really? Like, this is all just a mirage. It's a, and it really is, and it doesn't matter what happens, it still is. So that was with me all along, like a nice parrot on my shoulder, or as the like Peter Pan or something. It's just like this nice um, remembrance and grounding, calmness, peace. I felt peace really fast, surprisingly fast after this. And you can, um, I called my some I I still had my phone, so I was able to talk to my friends and stuff. And I was like, that was a revelation that I had to share with them. Like, just lose all your stuff, man. That is not a prescription, but it's just like, it's just like, think about it. Like, I was robbed all of my, what I, what I was holding on to. So there was just like, it was a big reminder that I felt resilient, thanks to just remembering how my experience works, that it's not anything out there that can have me feel anyway. Feelings, it's even to the place that feelings is just whatever, will be, feelings, at some point we get so personal about it and so dramatic about it that we hold on to feelings, like the person you talked to about post-traumatic stress disorder or whatever. She was like, she had never realized she didn't have to do anything. It's so profound and so stupidly obvious that it's so it's too close to us almost. So we start engaging and creating stuff. Long story though, like 2 weeks after now, I had a message on Spanish saying, "Hey, we found your backpack." So it's in Madrid. Yeah, someone found it.
So you got your stuff back?
I haven't yet. It's still in Madrid, and I'm in France. So, and they haven't answered the last 24 hours, but I'm calm about it. You know, I'm calm about it. I really am, and but I think I'll get it back, and then I can enjoy it again. Yeah, I can enjoy holding on to my concerns again.
But you'll be a bit more conscious of what they are now, rather than, you won't be taking them so seriously, I guess, now.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
funny. That's funny. Yeah.
It's yeah.
I had not a similar experience, but when I was one Saturday morning, when I had one, like today, I had a talk in the evening that I was due to do, and in the morning I found that my MacBook wasn't charging, and I left my spare one. I left my MacBook in France. This was a new charger that I had, and when I tried the spare charger, that wouldn't work either. I thought, that's funny. So I changed the socket. I tried a different socket to see if it was that, and it still wouldn't work. And for about 3 hours, I was like thinking, how am I going to do these sessions? Because, I'll have nothing to do it on. But I was like you, just keeping completely calm about it. Just like, well, whatever's happening is what's supposed to be happening. And it'll sort out one way or another, And this was just going on. And it wasn't until about 3 hours afterwards, when I was trying to find different ways of making it work. And, I tried a different socket in the room, and that didn't work either. And it was when I then I thought, oh, well, I better charge my phone so that I've got that to use at least, and plugged that in, and that didn't work either. And then I finally realized that the whole room had gone. The whole room.
Ah.
It's just so, I love it. It's just such, if you just don't get, and I could have been in a terrible state like you, like you could have been. I could have been in a really worked up about it and lots of thinking about it. And I was like, no point, it'll be whatever it'll be. And it's so much easier to live that way. Yeah.
It is. It is. It's for someone who hear this for the first time, there can be a resistance because they're used to resisting. When you hold on to there, I was an expert at holding on to my problems, and I took pride in it. It's like, it seems like if I just do this more and more and more and more and better than everyone else, and etc., like there's some place I will arrive to, and well, we wouldn't even fathom what that place would have even seemed like if we didn't know it from before. So it's just there, available, when we let go, when we, or say wake, it's not even, I hate to even say that, because it's not even an event. It's not even you wake up. I thought that for years, and I was searching for it for years. I thought that if I just wake up, if I just get it, if I just let go of some, I know it's words here, so there's a container. What is Jim Carrey says, you can't contain the container. So it's ever present. It's presence. You're always there, and that's who you're searching for, or what you're searching for, I guess.
Yeah, we can't get enlightened because we already are, like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is like, yeah, or even yeah, or you can switch the word enlightened with successful, or getting there, or so many, like, look at this area like coaching and stuff, like everyone wants a certification, because then stuff like that, it's fine if you feel drawn to it, and if you're playing on a good tone, if this is something that you feel that's closing in, there's a sense, then there's, that's a different story than frustratingly trying to get to an end goal or get somewhere in order to. Uh, I do that all the time. I do that still all the time. Yeah.
So, what are you up to now? You just whatever you feel like. I mean, are you sharing with people? Are you still doing coaching now, or?
Right. So I'm trying to tone down the amount of people that I'm focusing on. Does that make sense? So I do one-on-ones and uh, like over long periods of time, and also helping them build their websites and brand testers that, and then I have conversations and uh, yeah, so there's that obviously, and then there's the Zanzibar project. I am saving and investing and hopefully managing to buy um, my parents' house on Zanzibar. If not, then that's fine too. My long-term vision there is to create an international music festival, and also a retreat sanctuary place for everyone, co-working, anyone who wants to create, music studio, all that I said earlier. I bought a big plot there. So it's like 5 minutes from the beach, and it's just bush now. So we're planting and we're chopping and we're doing all that. So yeah, I saw Akon, the singer. He had bought, or he had been sponsored by China with a billion worth of solar panels, which he is installing and helping locals install in West Africa, and I think now to more like 18 million people. So that's something I'm really passionate about. Kids can study after 7 because they now have solar panel. They have electricity. Shops can be open longer, stuff like that. That actually matter. It can be a contributing factor in growth. And välstånd. Also välstånd. I don't know the word. Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? I think I know with me over the last year living in my van, it's because I always love to be outside anyway, but over the last year, because I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing. I mean, what to do next. So I spent a lot of time doing my sister's garden. They have lots of trees and lots of trees falling down. And I started learning about permaculture and doing hugelkultures and really got so interested and so passionate about this stuff that I never really thought about before, about saving the planet and doing all this stuff. And you could, when you're living in it, it's a lot. Yeah, I don't know what, but anyway, these things just come up, don't they, when they do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So your project sounds really good to me.
Yeah. Karibu sana. You're welcome to join any way you can or want. Anyone is, whoever watching or listening. What you just said though is there's some things in life that seems to come with the tide, with the slowly arising in us, and then there's other things that seems like the hot new shiny object. And to know that, to understand or kind of like feel or see the difference and connect the dots, the dots are going to connect if you let them, kind of. And for me too, like I start seeing like sustainable growth and permaculture and stuff like that, stuff that my dad used to be really passionate about, and now he's passed on, and his energy is still here. It's kind of like I'm invited to that's just a concept too. It's just a story I'm telling, but it feels like I'm invited to go that route. And it's just like, I feel life has an abundance of invitations that's waiting for us, when it's just waiting for us, here.
Yeah, that sounds very different from running that really busy life, doing all the conferences and stuff.
Yeah. It was yeah, it's a lot different. It's tough. It can be. It was, what they call it, the backside of the medal or something. Like, I guess you could say, the conference was in my name. It was in my personal brand. I got a lot of attention. Everyone knew me, etc., etc. All, and fame, or whatever that is, that's the shiny object. When someone tells you you're the shit, you're like, yeah, I'm the shit. And then now what? You know what I mean? And then your moods are still going to be ebbs and flows. Your feelings are always going to be ebbs and flows. You can't chase, what do they call it, chasing the dragon. you know uh, you know Sooner or later, there is a silence. There's a silent truth that's just there right before you fall asleep at night. If you're not on constantly, uh what's the word, when you divert yourself, or kind of like, going on all the tangents, all the possible tangents all the time, um you know scrolling, or whatever your addiction is, and kind of always running away from truth. Just sit, notice, be. It'll come. And abundance too, confidence too, that core essence. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
stops.
that's really good. Sorry.
It's just that it never stops to boggle me.
I think you'd be joining a party at the back there soon, in a minute or so.
Uh-huh.
So, anything else that you think that you'd like to share with people? Or?
Just don't listen to me. I talk a lot. You know best. Be yourself. Uh, you know that's actually a big one. Yeah. Yeah. You're so more than you think you are. And I think I talk a lot because I think I need to hear this lately. It's just uh, good to know. Good to know. You're not, you're not the contents of your thinking. You're not your beliefs. You're not who you think you are. You are not even your mind. You're not, your thoughts don't, just let whatever happens to you and your body and whatnot be cool. See what that means. Like, be curious and open and let go. You can't, okay, I'm gonna go on a rant now again. Okay. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's all great. Okay, so we'll let everybody go and just experiment with that now then. Yeah, thanks so much for being here. It's been really good, really interesting listening and talking and meeting you. And
Yeah.
and I expect I'll see you again soon.
Yeah, you too.
Okay.
Fellow van lifer. I
Yeah.
love it. And I think what you're doing here is epic. Epic. I told Tess this morning, for free, so consistent. Like, she does Instagram, she's an Instagram expert. And one of the things she's pounding into people is just stay consistent, just like stay with it. One brick at a time, you're going to build a wall, or that might not be the best these days metaphor, but yeah, anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, no, maybe not.
You're doing
But
very good work. Yeah.
well, yeah. Consistent, yeah. Well, because I just said, the idea just came into my head one day, and it wasn't even like an idea. It was just like, you are going to do this, right? So 1 or 2 speakers a day for 2 months. No idea why, but so yeah. So that's it, doing it. And you're
Killing it.
welcome. So thank you very much for being here and coming on.
Thank you.
Again
Thank you.
soon.
Thank you. All right.
See you later. Bye then.
Ciao.